Hey everybody, it's Felisa. This is going to be another entry into Spotlight Sunday, which of course highlights the missing and the lost, specifically women and specifically African American women. This case is going to be on Alexis Tiara Murphy. A lot of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you comes directly from the Charlie Project, located at charlieproject.org. I will leave the link for you below. I would greatly appreciate it if you are in a position to support Megan and the outstanding work that she does for charlieproject.org, that you do so. I will also be reading from an updated news article that I was able to locate about Alexis. I've not read it in its entirety. I apologize in advance for that, but hopefully together we will be able to glean some updated information that may give an indication as to where Alexis may be. As always, is my heart and my intention to present this information fairly and accurately. Therefore, if you have any updates or have any corrections to the information that I'm going to present, I ask that you kindly leave it below. It is my heart to be able to rejoin families with the lost and missing, that they may have peace and closure. So again, this case is going to be on Alexis Tiara Murphy. She has been missing since August the 3rd, 2013. She disappeared from Shipman, Virginia. Her classification is endangered missing. Her date of birth is June 5th, 1996. She'll be 23 in a matter of weeks. At the time of her disappearance, she was 17. She was 5'7", approximately 156 pounds. The clothing that she was wearing at the time of her disappearance is described as a long sleeve burgundy or pink shirt, leopard print or floral print spandex capri pants, and brown boots. She was carrying a dark gray and light gray purse. Distinguishing characteristics are as follows. She is an African American female, black hair, brown eyes. Her right nostril is pierced and the right side of her upper lip is pierced. The details of her disappearance are: Alexis left her home in Shipman, Virginia at 7 p.m. on August 3rd, 2013, saying that she was going to Lynchburg, Virginia to buy hair extensions for a hair appointment scheduled the following week. Later that night, she was captured on surveillance video at a gas station in Liberty, Virginia, which was on the way to Lynchburg. She never returned home and has never been heard from again. Her vehicle, a white 2003 Nissan Maxima with a Virginia license plate number WYN3706, was found 3 days later in a Carmike movie theater parking lot less than a mile from the secondhand store where she worked. On August the 11th, Randy Allen Taylor was charged with abduction by force or intimidation in Alexis's disappearance. I will post a photo of him. It should be on the screen for you. This is the person of interest. He has a criminal record stretching back to the early 1990s, mostly for nonviolent offenses. In January 2014, Taylor was additionally charged with Alexis's murder and with abduction with intent to defile. He was convicted in May and sentenced to 2 terms of life in prison. A clerk at the gas station said that she saw Alexis leaving the station the night of her disappearance, driving her Nissan and following Taylor's truck. Authorities later found some of her hair, one of her earrings, her hair and lash extensions, and a human fingernail at Taylor's trailer in Livingston, Virginia. They also found one of Taylor's t-shirts stained with Alexis's blood under Taylor's couch, and her cell phone was in a brush pile less than 100 feet from Taylor's trailer. Investigators believe a violent encounter took place at the trailer that resulted in Alexis's death. Taylor initially denied having seen Alexis that night, but later admitted he met her by chance at the Liberty gas station, and she went with him to his trailer with another man, later identified as Damian Bradley. The 2 men smoked marijuana and drank beer, but Alexis did not join them. Taylor said she was alive and well the last time he saw her. Investigators located and questioned Bradley in late September and ruled him out as a suspect in Alexis's disappearance. Taylor is also a possible suspect in the 2010 disappearance of Samantha Clark. He hasn't been charged in Clark's case, and it's unclear whether he was involved, but they knew each other and spoke on the phone at least 5 times the day she vanished. Taylor maintains his innocence in Clark's disappearance and Alexis's presumed murder, saying he was harassed by the police and they planted evidence against him. Alexis was a rising senior at Nelson County High School in 2013 and planned to attend college after graduation. She played volleyball and enjoyed spending time with friends, but did not have a boyfriend. It's uncharacteristic of her to leave without warning, and she has never said that she wanted to run away. Foul play is suspected in her case due to the circumstances involved. I'll give my commentary and then I'll read the updated article. And again, I have not read this article, so we'll be delving into and analyzing the information together. But I do want to say a couple of things about this whole thing. It's just very odd and bizarre to me. Number one, anybody that knows anything about women knows that we are on a complete and absolute mission when it comes to our hair. So Alexis had a purpose. Like, she left the house to go to this store or whatever to purchase these hair extensions because she had a hair appointment. Black women know how exceedingly important it is to be able to have whatever hair or beauty supply goods that you're going to have for your hair appointment. Otherwise, your stylist will not be able to accommodate you. So the idea that she was going a week before her appointment let me know that she was serious. Furthermore, we don't know what her work schedule was like. This said that her car was discovered, a few miles from the secondhand store where she worked, but she also was a student. So this may have been her one and only, perhaps off day or opportunity to be able to go and get what she needed before her appointment the following week. Furthermore, it's not as if she went early in the day. 7 o'clock is reasonably late in the evening. And, again, this may have been the only time that she would have had an opportunity to go. Also, 7 p.m. is a little late to try and go to any store to conduct business. I don't know, other parts of the world, or other parts of the country, I should say. But our stores in my neck of the woods will close at 9 o'clock. So you only have a couple of hours to be able to get to a store, make your purchase, and then, go on and do whatever else you need to do. But saying that, I don't know what the distance was before from her house to this store. And she also stopped for gas, which, of course, according to the article, indicates that, this gas station was on the way. So, even if it was a half an hour away, that's still, she would have had to put in time for the gas and then continue her drive. She may not have arrived until about 7:40, 7:45, which, would have definitely given her limited time to be able to make her purchase. Then the idea that she met this random guy at a gas station, had enough conversation with him to decide that she wanted to follow him to parts unknown is just bizarre to me. Like, what was the nature of this conversation? What on earth could he have said to her in that space of time, that little bit of interaction? Because, you don't really have a whole lot of time to talk and interface and all those kinds of things. So what exactly did he say to her during this course of interaction that made her feel comfortable enough to follow him back to his house? Not only that, but what was it that she was going to do? What was it that he indicated that, he had for her or what have you? And then even the idea that she still, was in possession of her vehicle. So she didn't get in the car with this guy. She still had possession of her vehicle, which theoretically, if she was safe and she was okay and this was not a nefarious kind of situation or circumstance, she would have been able to leave whole and intact, get in her vehicle and drive away, if something had gone left. Furthermore, all of the evidence that was collected in this particular trailer, her fingernail, her eyelash extensions, her hair, do you know what kind of physical altercation you would have to break a fingernail, to, have an eyelash ripped off, to have a hair extension ripped out of your head? So whatever happened in this trailer was brutal. And, again, that leads me back to my previous comment and question, which was, what on earth could he have possibly said to her to get her to be secure enough and, just comfortable enough to follow this perfect stranger back to his house. It just really, that whole scenario doesn't make sense. And of course, we've done some crazy things at 17. And we know that 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, what have you, teenagers, period, don't have the best discernment or, the best, analytical skills to be able to kind of walk something through. So, clearly she felt comfortable enough to be able to meet with this man on his home, on his turf. And, it did not work well in her favor, unfortunately. So the article that I'm going to read comes from True Crime Daily. It was published on February the 10th, 2017, so about 3 years after she went missing. And it just simply says, what happened to Alexis Murphy, Virginia teen, remains missing. So it says she went on Twitter to tell her friends she was off on a road trip. But somewhere along the way, Murphy vanished. Who is responsible? Police make an arrest, but do they have the right man? Senior pictures are around the corner for 17-year-old Alexis Murphy, and she is headed out to get her hair done. I was getting up to go to work. I knew I was supposed to give her some money for her hair, said Laura Murphy, Alexis's mother. She was laughing, she was happy, and she walked out of the house, and that was the last time that I saw her. Just after 3 p.m., Alexis posts on her Twitter account, Berg bound. She's on her way to Lynchburg, about a 20-minute drive from her home in Shipman, Virginia. Okay, so now we have an established timeline. 20 minutes is not a whole lot of time. She stopped for gas. And there is a little bit of a discrepancy because this says that it was just after 3 p.m., whereas the Charlie Project lists at 7 p.m. So that is a discrepancy. I'm telling y'all, we're going through this together. So I wonder what the time difference was. Did she post this at 3 o'clock and, didn't leave until 7? Because that's important. But in any case, it should have only taken her about 20 minutes to get to her destination. Maybe 30 minutes with the stop at the gas station. Alexis's mother was on her way out too. She was on her way to work the overnight shift at the post office. But in the wee hours of Sunday morning, Alexis's grandmother, who lives with them, wakes to find Alexis did not make her midnight curfew. She had never done that before. That's something that's not right, said Laura Murphy. That's not Alexis. Laura called me and she said Alexis didn't come home. And I told her right then and there she needed to call the cops, said Troy Brown, Alexis's father. I was trying to keep calm and not panic because, as a father in this situation, by not coming home at her curfew and not bringing my car home, just about anything runs through your mind. Okay, so she was driving Dad's car. She had a midnight curfew, which, yeah. Okay, so, I'm kind of on the fence about that one because I tend to be overzealous and, probably a helicopter mom. I would be concerned if, one of my children left the house to go to the store, and I probably wouldn't wait until their curfew if their curfew was at 12 or whatever it was. Like, in an hour or so, I'd be texting like, hey, did you get lost or what have you. That's just kind of my nature, just to make sure that they're okay and, they made it safely and things of that nature. I'm not saying that all parents have to do that, but her going this long, if she left at 7, that's one thing. That's 5 hours that she would have been missing. But 3 o'clock, if this article is correct, that's a long time to go on a 20-minute ride and not circle the loop of communication and say, hey, I stopped here or hey, I went there. So that would definitely be a red flag for me. The local sheriff's department is notified of the missing teen, and so are friends of Alexis, and she has many. Alexis's social media footprint is large with thousands of followers turned searchers. Social media was a big help because they put it out there so people just started coming and searching with them. They called the state police and they had the helicopter in the air that night. The FBI was on the ground too, said Laura Murphy. Then just 3 days after Alexis disappears, police make a disturbing discovery. Her father's car, which she was driving, was found in a movie theater parking lot here in Charlottesville, abandoned. Nobody was in it, said Anthony Martin, former Nelson County Commonwealth attorney. But at some point, someone was and is captured on a nearby mall surveillance camera. The car is seen pulling in at 10:30 at night, the day after she went missing. You couldn't see who got out of it, though. They really tried to enhance the video, but it was just very grainy, black and white surveillance video, and it was at night. We were never able to see on the camera who drove the car. Then investigators got a hunch. It was more or less just brainstorming where she could have possibly gone. We knew that it was a place that she would hang out. The Liberty gas station in Livingston, where local teens hang out after school and on weekends. Okay, so that's typical. I don't know if she'd ever gone there before, but, maybe it was a case of her just not needing gas. Maybe because it was on the way, she swung in there because she saw somebody that she knew, or, she wanted to grab a snack or what have you. But on her way out the gas station, frame by frame, there it is. A man holding a door for a woman to leave the store, and she walks out, doesn't look at him, doesn't say anything. She doesn't stop, just an everyday, nothing extraordinary about it. The man in the surveillance video holding the door for Alexis is sporting a large, unique neck tattoo. Cops take notice, and they take note of the man's distinctive vehicle, a camouflage Chevy Suburban. At the same time, the FBI zeroes in on Alexis' cell phone signal. It's pinging and it's eerily close. We determined that the cell phone was located in an area about maybe 1 mile north of that gas station. When FBI agents and Virginia State Police swarmed the area of the cell phone's location, it was an abandoned property. It was an old house right beside Route 29, right along the main highway. Of course, it was the summertime, and there was so much vegetation. 5 feet away from the road, you're in the shadows. And parked within the overgrown brush was a camouflage Chevy Suburban. Quickly, detectives are greeted by a familiar face. He had a very large tattoo on his neck of Daffy Duck. Investigators believe he is the same man on the surveillance tape at the gas station who held the door for Alexis. He met them at the beginning of the property, and he certainly didn't say anything directly that would implicate him. But the creep factor is about to go off the charts when seasoned detectives approach his camper. He had a video camera on top of his camper pointing out at the driveway, and just his general demeanor. He was normal at first. He's the kind of person that makes the hair on your neck stand up. I guess that's the best way we could put it, said Martin. The man identifies himself as Randy Taylor and invites detectives inside. Once inside the camper, something sparkly catches a detective's eye. A diamond stud, which would be similar to a nose piercing or an earring, in the carpet, as well as a fingernail on the pillow of his bed. There was a long black hair that was consistent with an African-American female. But they still need more. Police leave Taylor's property and take the potential evidence for DNA testing. Upon further review of gas station surveillance video, they concentrate on another angle focused outside the gas station. Shortly after she was seen leaving the store with him holding the door, you could see his vehicle go by northbound, which is where his camper was, and then her father's Nissan right behind him, said Martin. The potential evidence police discovered inside of Taylor's camper is sent to Virginia State Police Crime Lab for DNA testing. The diamond stud, strand of hair, and broken fingernail matched Alexis's DNA. Once that was a match, it became a clear suspect then, said former Nelson County Commonwealth Attorney Anthony Martin. Once he knew that we knew, he finally said, "Okay, I saw her." He said that her, and as he put it, a black guy with dreadlocks came to his camper to get drugs. They drank a few beers, and she left his camper, as he put it, laughing and smiling, and that was the last he saw of her. Randy Taylor gives cops a name. His name was Damian Bradley, and Mr. Bradley, he knew of Alexis. We go and talk to him because we want to get to the bottom of this. He flat out denies even ever having met Mr. Taylor. He certainly was the last person to be with Alexis. He didn't accompany her to Randy's camper. And according to detectives, Damian Bradley's alibi is solid. He was with his father in Alabama during the weekend of Alexis's disappearance. With potentially incriminating DNA and Randy Taylor's false statements, cops have enough to arrest him on abduction charges. When police tell Alexis's family that they've made an arrest, the name Randy Taylor doesn't ring a bell, but his face does. When I saw his face, I thought, this guy looks really familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And it came out that he used to work at a used car lot, and I actually bought a car from them. And he was the person who handed me my keys, said Trina Murphy, Alexis's aunt. The attendants at the gas station where they were seen together, they just said that he always made them feel uncomfortable, said Anthony Martin. He would just take a Suburban back to the corner parking lot and just sit there for over an hour and just watch people coming in and out of the store. Cops get a call from an employee at a porn shop who claims just 15 minutes before Taylor was at the gas station, he was at the store purchasing 2 adult videos. We felt that there was a sexual motivation to this, said Martin, and it was at that point that we felt that we really needed to get inside the camper, and we started developing probable cause to get a warrant, They get one, and federal agents and local police officers race to Taylor's property to take another look inside the camper, and under the couch they make a dreadful discovery. They find a t-shirt balled up under the sofa, and it had black hair extensions and then a set of artificial eyelashes. The shirt seems to be the same one Taylor is wearing in the surveillance video on the day of Alexis's disappearance, except for one notable change. There was a stain on the back of the shirt. It turned out that it was blood. The DNA on the eyelashes, the extensions, and the blood stain matched Alexis's DNA. Inside the abandoned home on Taylor's property, investigators find a scrapbook with pornographic pictures with the faces cut out, and photos of a female were taped up on those photos, according to Martin. The female is the daughter of one of his co-workers. Alexis's cell phone is still missing. Her friends and family claim the social media maven was never without it. The Department of Corrections in Virginia has canines that are specially trained to detect cellular phones, said Martin. Police canines are unleashed on Taylor's property and find Alexis's shattered iPhone about 15 feet from Taylor's camper. With the evidence mounting against Taylor, he sits in jail on abduction charges. At the same time, there are numerous police reports of other girls who have gone missing in the same area of town in Charlottesville. So there you have it. There's a timeline that they go into in this article. I'm not going to read that level of detail. It does involve other missing and lost women who some of their remains have been found, some of them have not. This guy is at least off the street. He sounds like he's bad news. But unfortunately, Alexis is still missing. There's still some unanswered questions. What is the connectivity between this gentleman? I use that term loosely, this dude, and Alexis. What on earth could he have possibly said to her to make her feel comfortable enough to follow him back to his house? And then what exactly happened in that trailer? Like, he wasn't even pressed to clean the crime scene. I mean, things were just seemed, according to the evidence that the police collected, things were just in plain sight. Like, he didn't even bother to clean or, get rid of evidence or things of that nature. It was just strewn about the trailer, just willy-nilly, and her belongings and her DNA was just strewn about as if it was nothing. I do hope that at some point he will disclose where Alexis may be found, because it does seem as though she is no longer earthbound. And if that is the case, then her family deserves the closure of being able to recover her remains and lay them to rest. Again, he's the one that has the key to all this. The other man that he tried to implicate in this foolishness has an airtight alibi and is not considered a suspect. So this all rests with, this Taylor guy. And if he does not feel the need to confess, if he does not feel the need to disclose exactly what happened in that trailer and where Alexis may be, she may not be recovered. If you know anything, even if you feel like it's nothing, if you happen to be in the vicinity of, this particular gas station on the night in question, and you saw something or you heard something that you kind of filed away and you didn't think that it was important, please contact the police department that is investigating this case. I'll leave that information for you below. help locate Alexis and bring her home for not just closure for her family, but to reunite her with her loved ones in any way possible. As always, I appreciate your watching. Please share this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I wish you all much peace and love. Be blessed.